Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Open University.
Hello learners, welcome back for the discussion regarding News Reporter, Unit 1 of the paper of Masters of Journalism and Mass Communication. We discussed in the earlier lecture regarding news reporter, his duties, his qualifications, his salary, his career growth, graph chart, everything. Now let us talk about the grooming part and presentation, how a news reporter should look when he is in front of a camera, when he is in front of the people, when he is in front of the crowd, where he or she is supposed to speak with, right? So why this grooming is important? Why this presentation is important? Because you are in front of camera, people are going to see to you. Till the early 1990s, turning up for a press conference or even a one-to-one interview in a pair of trousers and t-shirt or a pant and a kurta with just chappals or was not considered out of place. I mean, it was okay for everyone. Liberalization and the changing culture within the newsrooms changed all that. If we talk about today's environment or today's generation, chappals are frowned upon and almost fully eliminated nowadays. And khadi kurtas can be branded one as a left-leaning reporter. Grooming among women reporters has been more consistent. It has always been either Indian attire, that can be a sari or a dress, or a Western one. Traditionally, a reporter would go to cover a tragic event dressed up in a more sober colors if there is enough time for that. But if one is already in bright clothes when in the office and information comes about death of a famous personality, there is no option for a reporter other than going in whatever dress or whatever attire he or she is wearing in office on that day. Because the news reporter has to be on the spot on the time. On TV, most studio personalities these days across almost all channels, may it be English or language, dressed up in formal clothes. Formal clothes means what? Like suit and tie. In case of women, more chic formals is opted. On occasion like Diwali days, most anchors are in traditional Indian clothes. A print reporter in formal clothing could be seen only among business journalists, that is business group or corporates, if they are preparing to interview a big time industrialist or a very big personality. Informal attire is still a part of journalists' get-up, but the chappals, kurtas are out of the practical purposes nowadays. Now we don't find them in these outfits at all. The best thing about journalism is that it gives ample scope for expanding one's knowledge as it involves encountering new information and situations every day. A lot is to be learned on the job, how every good a grounding a journalism degree may give. A somewhat basic to deep understanding of current affairs, city, national, and international issues is imperative for a reporter. The reporter needs to have a perspective on the information that he or she gathers to pass on to his audience and the way for that information he or she should look like. Turning out well in front of the camera for a particular TV news person is as important as language, clarity, tone, and storytelling skills, because they are going to see them, they are going to get appealed from the confidence on the face, on the attire he or she is wearing. The reporter should not reflect any anxiety or personal situation that the reporter may be going through in his life. It should not reflect any bias against any of the communities or characters in the play. A reporter's job is to be alert and sieve the deluge of information that he may be receiving on the go when covering a breaking story. It would involve prioritizing the incoming data, retention of these data, and delivering them relevantly, including during interviews with the dramatic personae. Interviewing is a major process of reporting. The ability to draw out information from authorities or any business person or big shot, the people in the know about the subject through skillful and informed questioning should be a given for any reporter worth his or her salt. Regular research and reading on an electronic mix of topics would help prepare a journalist cover any event or individual making the headlines. Why this kind of grooming is required? Why this kind of what to say, the why this kind of identification or outfit or wearing is required? Because this is going to appeal. See, these are the pictures of some of the well-known news reporters. The smile they carry, the confidence they have on their face, the body language they use, the dressing they are having, it all speaks a lot. So the dressing or grooming or presentation of a reporter begins from top to his bottom. It is not just that the information he or she is delivering, it is the confidence he or she is wearing, the face confidence, the facial expressions, the hairstyles they are wearing, the dress they are wearing, the postures of their hand, the postures of their standing, the way they talk to people, the way they try to give information to the people. Everything is very much important, friends. So grooming and presentation and connecting to people with the occasion is again a part of grooming. I mean, when we talked in the theory that if the reporter is going to anybody's death of any big personality or a big shot, he or she is expected to dress that ways. But if he or she is in office wearing some outfit, but on the spot they have to reach to the place of the accident or place of the incident happened, they have to reach the way they are. But where they have scope of reflection, where they have scope of making people understand, the audience understand what is the occasion, like any Indian festive occasion, festivals or any celebrations, they wear the outfits according to the event, they wear the outfits according to the celebration. If it is Diwali, they can wear similarly. If it is Holi, they can wear similarly. If it is a patriotic event, they can wear their outfit similarly, so that along with the information, along with the news, along with the content they are covering, their body language, their smile, their hairstyle, their outfits, their footwears, everything is appealing, and even the background what they are taking while delivering the information. So grooming is again one of the very important factor nowadays for any news reporter. Earlier it was not so. Earlier तो जैसे बात हुई कि वो खादी का कुर्ता पहना, जीन्स पहना, चप्पल पहना, थैला लिया, गए तो is okay. In case of females, it was anything what they wear, but nowadays it is not so. Nowadays people give importance to what you are wearing, whether it be a regional channel or whether it be a national channel or an international channel. प्रिंट मीडिया की जो बात हुई, तो प्रिंट मीडिया में कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर में जब आप कोई मीटिंग में जाते हो, कोई इंटरव्यू के लिए जाते हो, तो इवन देयर अटायर शुड बी फॉर्मल. इट इज़ नॉट जस्ट कि प्रिंट में तो लिखा हुआ आता है, प्रिंट में जो लिखा आता है वो इन्फॉर्मेशन लेने के लिए वो रिपोर्टर को कहीं ना कहीं जाना होता है, उनको कहीं ना कहीं किसी से मिलना होता है. वाई सामने वाला विल गिव यू इन्फॉर्मेशन, why he or she will be attracted to give information to you, why they will have that weightage कि हाँ ये न्यूज़ में से आया है तो इसको इन्फॉर्मेशन देना पड़ेगा, इसको सच बताना पड़ेगा, इसको जो है उसके साथ बात करना पड़ेगा. तो that is not only just the name, but it is along with the content, along with the style, along with the popularity, it is the outfit and your top to bottom personality which should be appealing, right? So grooming is also one of the important factors when it comes to the news reporters, whether it be print media or electronic media. Now let us discuss about fake news. We all know there are fake news around. आजकल हम में से कोई भी न्यूज़ में ज़्यादा भरोसा नहीं करता है. तो as a news reporter, how you should identify fake news? All said and done, there is tremendous information overload these days. Apart from traditional media, digital and social network sites such as Twitter, Facebook, blogs, WhatsApp, they all give information. ये सब जगह से हमको किसके यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, कहाँ पे क्या हुआ, we all know. Some of them go viral, instantly relayed spontaneously through individual people. वो एक अकेला कहीं जा रहा है तो कर दिया. and they are the talk of the town these days. A rumor, any opinion, a personal message mischaracterized, manufactured videos or spoofs taken seriously may be passed off as authentic news with serious consequences. We should not be part of it. We have to take care when now we are living in the culture of social media. A credible news organization filters the news through a system of checks and balances which includes verifying of sources of information. कहाँ से information आई है? Cross checking the documents जब कोई authentic बात है तो you have to check. Going to the source for the confirmation or denial, वो सही है कि गलत है उसको fact finding हो जाता है वहीं पे. This process is often absent in media in current times. अब ये नहीं हो पाता because why? When the proliferation of information and misinformation outlets coupled with shortage of resources makes it challenging to comb through a information deluge. Why? Because continuously there is expansion of news, there is explosion of news. So we don't have time to check. Instead, rapidly evolving technology and easy to use editing apps help us most of these news, especially video feeds, look real. तो हम उसको सच मान लेते हैं. With constant pressure on the reporters to be the first one to give the news, to give breaking news due to diligence takes a backseat. Fake news does not happen in vacuum, that we all know. वो भी create होती है कहीं ना कहीं से. It has grown not only because of the spread of social media like FB, College, Twitter, WhatsApp, but also because of the falling credibility of the mainstream media. मेनस्ट्रीम मीडिया से ज़्यादा हम फेसबुक में जो आ गया, सीधा किसी ने रिकॉर्ड किया हम उसको मान लेते, सीधा किसी ने दे दिया ये वीडियो यहाँ पे ये हो रहा है वो हो रहा है, हमने उसको मान लिया. वी ऑल नो कि हम सबके पास जो एक खिलौना है जिसको हम मोबाइल बोलते हैं, उसमें इतने सारे एप्स है, सोशल मीडिया एप्स है. एवरी बैकग्राउंड, एवरी फेस, एवरी पर्सन कैन बी एडिटेड. जहां हम ये बात करते हैं कि हम किसी भी पर्सन को जब तक सामने नहीं मिलते उसकी फोटो से उसको आइडेंटिफाई करना आज के ज़माने में मुश्किल है. तो न्यूज़ इज समथिंग लाइक दैट, फेक न्यूज़ इज समथिंग लाइक दैट. उसकी क्रेडिबिलिटी जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है. फेक न्यूज़ सर्कुलेट्स इन वेरियस शेप्स एंड फॉर्म्स. वो बोलते हैं कि कहीं ना कहीं से वो आ ही जाता है. इवन इलेक्टेड गवर्नमेंट्स फ्लोट, वो भी कुछ ना कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन फ्लोट करती है, फेक न्यूज़ फ्लोट करते हैं with an intent to show themselves as good in light. कई बार ऐसा होता है. This is called yellow journalism. If we all talk about yellow journalism बहुत सुनते हैं हम. Every political party, every company, maybe every corporate culture, किसको अच्छा नहीं लगेगा खुद को अच्छा बताना, उस खुद ने जो काम किया है उसे अच्छा बताना. तो when they talk what has not happened, when they talk what is not done, or when they talk about the target that is not achieved by them, that is called yellow journalism. वो उनके आपको अच्छा बताने के लिए हम जो जर्नलिज्म की तरफ जाते हैं. So this kind of yellow journalism can be defined in the realm of misinformation. Why misinformation? Because it is in a mild avatar is merely inaccurate information not intended to cause harm. But at its worst, fake news has acquired an alarming presence as a tool of manipulation by organizations, by the governments across the world. It is not only in any specific area or corner of the world, everywhere it is happening. To distort the real alarming information, to distort the reality what has happened for the targeted groups. If we talk about political parties in India, they too have been accused of indulging in creating and actively promoting fake news to spread fear among communities and sway public opinion. This is disinformation with specific intent to create hatred and weaken the social fabric. Many times it happens, it works a lot. Many countries have seen a proliferation of fake news around the time of election. Usually embedded in negative messaging, fake news has contributed significantly towards ensuring lopsided political outcomes around the world. क्यों? क्योंकि वो बात को लोग सच मानने लगते हैं, जो बोल रहे हैं उसको रियलिटी मानने लगते हैं. It is expected. That said, there is excellent thoroughbred journalism still around that call out on fake news and try to hold the purveyors of false news accountable. Still, fake news is a growing industry promoted by those who believe in certain methodology or political ideology and are willing to discard the authenticity when it serves their agenda. So the agenda is important, not the facts. But for a journalist, it should be quite easy to identify fake news. We have to identify. Every news emanates from a source. There is some source. It must be cross-checked with at least one or more sources. The version of the other side, whether it be an aggrieved party in the story, the police or the government that has to be represented in the article. It should be fact. You have to cross-check. You have to cross-check when you are writing because your name is equally important. A story is believed to be true because it is gone viral. People know that. It is already in the hands of people. But there have been studies conducted in US where evidence has shown a direct relation between inaccuracy and virality. A BuzzFeed analysis in 2016 in US elections showed that more inaccurate the information, the more FB users engaged with it and shared it. That means the social media is more engaged in showing the fake news or inaccurate news or the news which is interpreted by them. The news which is interpreted by the people or the social media news givers. They are not reporters actually. They are just giving the information what they want to give, what they intend to give. So they are just spreading and getting it viral, and they are getting knowingly or unknowingly they are getting into yellow journalism, right? So we as a reporter should be very reluctant, very clear and very visionary how we should know कि कौन सा news सही है, कौन सा गलत है, what are the facts, and be it any kind of organization, firm or anything, हमारी news fact होनी चाहिए. You are not giving decisions. You are just presenting the facts in front of your viewers because the viewers are trusting you, because the system is trusting you. So you have to be very clear and vigilant when you come across any fake news, and you have to identify it. Now, let us move to the next point, that is, what is the beat system in news, in city news, that is corporate news, culture, metro news, whatever we say, right? Now, beating reporting is an integral part of journalism which involves assigning reporter for a sector, that is sports, labor, banking, civic, administration, an outfit, political party, company, labor union, institution, government, our legal aspects, anything. So these are the categories where reporters are required. Earlier, till the late 90s, reporters would be assigned beats after gaining a few years of experience in general reporting. एक बार वो general reporting हो गया, फिर specialized reporting की तरफ जाते हैं. But these days, beats are assigned even in cub reporters, that is growing reporters, as understudies to experienced reporters in those beats. Beat reporting gains familiarity with the topic, build up sources in that beat, be in touch with them on a daily basis and gather information, get scoops from time to time for that particular beat or that particular segment of the study or news. Expertise in beat allows reporters to provide insight and commentary in addition to reporting straight facts. Generally, beat reporters will develop a rapport with their sources. They have to build rapport because उनको कहीं ना कहीं से वही information चाहिए. उनका एक focused area हो गया, अब वही area पे उनको काम करना है. Sports है तो sports ही है, entertainment है तो entertainment ही है, politics है तो politics ही है. So their sources are important. To build rapport with the sources is important. With who they have to be in constant touch. उनके साथ continuously they have to work, allowing to build trust between both the parties, the one that is journalist on one side and his or her sources of information, where the sources are important. Journalists become invested in the beats they are reporting on and become passionate about it, mastering into the own beat. They have their own forte now, they have their own specialty. Beat reporters often deal with their informants daily or on day-to-day basis, we can say, and must return to those sources regardless of the relationship with them. उनको उनके साथ ही काम करना है, तो they have to be in good rapport with them. When reporters gather information on a specific beat, They are able to gain both knowledge and sources to lead them to new stories relating that to beat. Beats help reporters define their own roles as journalists and avoid overlap of stories with the newsroom. तो वहाँ पे जहाँ पे ओवरलैपिंग ऑफ स्टोरीज हो रही है उसको अवॉइड करने का काम भी वो बीट सेगमेंट का ही है क्योंकि वो उसी सेक्टर में काम कर रहे हैं. Typically, beat reporters work with a specific editor or a head who knows the beat and can guide the reporter towards the sources or information as well as shape the stories. A reporter covering retail companies might report to the business editor क्यों वो business editor के साथ काम कर रहा है क्योंकि companies है. For instance, who will be able to help that reporter gather more and more information, more effective the information should be, तो who will be there? When a journalist works a beat over time, he develops a multitude of sources. उसके पास बहुत सारे sources होते हैं. This means that they know who to call when something happens. उनको पता है किससे बात करनी है, उनको पता है कब बात करनी है, who will give them the best information. A good journalist establishes solid relationship with his sources, so he can turn to them to get information at any time. वो कभी भी बात कर सकते हैं, right? Although people don't always like talking to reporters, कई बार ऐसा होता है we avoid talking to reporters, especially when the story is about any scandal or something negative. तो लोग पीछे हट जाते हैं. But a good journalist will always have sources who recognize that there is a positive in getting a story out and getting it out correctly. Correctly is more important, friends. In other words, a good journalist will develop a respectful relationship with the sources, his or her sources, right? Now let us talk about the role of correspondents, what the correspondents are doing. Why correspondence, right? Before going to the correspondence, let us have a look on the Indian journalists, news anchors, editors. We all know these people, but why they are known? We were talking about their salary, we were talking about the income. See here, they have shown the income as well of these popular news reporters. Why they are well known? Because of their experience, because of their presentation, because of the way they are delivering the news, the way they are collecting the news, and the way they are with the crowd or viewers or the public. And on public demand, the channels also wish to hire them. So they are the main resources of the news item or the news channel. So they are given that importance. So they are well known, right? Now these are some keywords which are used in the unit which you all should know, like reporting for print media, relationships, homogeneous groups, everything. Now, before ending with the presentation, one last topic which we need to talk about is the role of correspondents. Who are the correspondents for the news reporters? Now, reporting the news is important. So, correspondents are the ones who correspond news, who are the mediators or who are appointed by the news channels, some news organizations where they doesn't have any edition or by channels, why it doesn't feel the need for daily coverage. The places usually tend to be states, non-metros, tier 2 cities we can call, fewer than a million population, rural areas and such. For a national or a national channel or a national newspaper, correspondents are somebody who need to cover the in-between news of the metros. They have to, during the time of maybe elections you call, maybe time of some sport event, maybe time of some implementation of any event, tier 2 cities where there is major breaking news captures national attention. So those cities are one part. So what is the job of a correspondent over there? The correspondent is a one who has to act as an all-rounder, and in that sense his or her beat in the state of is a state or main the region where he or she has to work. So the region becomes important in case of a correspondent. There is a kind of independence that correspondents have. Being away from the center of edition, correspondents usually work solo. They have to work independently. They don't have to work with somebody or under the observation of somebody. Unless there is a demand for inputs for larger stories, there is a breaking of news from the area of correspondence scope. The correspondent, after consultation, they have to give their information, but they have to consult whom? So they have to consult the editor of the channel or of the print media where he or she is working. Unlike any reporter who is employed with the news channel directly, he or she has to work with the edition part, and the correspondent, under no pressure, they have to work with the channel. They don't have to work with a beat, they don't have to work with any specialized area, but the correspondents must develop contacts with the local region people across all the beats. For all the beats, there is a city allotted to him, there is a segment allotted to him. In that particular segment, may it be civic, may it be politics, may it be educational bodies, anything, a correspondent needs to come in collaboration, he or she needs to come in connection with all the people, and they have to collect their information. So friends, in this unit, we discussed about the news reporters, we discussed about the grooming part, we discussed about the print media and audio media news reporters part, and some well-known, we discussed the names of some well-known news reporters as well. We have seen in the presentation also how a news reporter works, what is a correspondence, what is the difference between correspondent and a news reporter is shown, what are beats, what is a news report is discussed. So with this, we end the unit 1 of this particular paper, which was talking about the news reporter. In the next session, we shall discuss more about the different other categories of media professionals associated with the occupations in the field of media. Thank you very much. It was pleasure talking to all of you. Thank you.
स्वाध्यायः परमं तपः